fell in love with Georgia. I thought it was the most beautiful place I ever saw. He calls me up and says, you always said you want to work there. You need to apply for this job. The lesser athletic, the lesser talented people can make for great coaches. You can know everything in the world, but if you can explain it, what good is knowing it? And I always thought like I could break it down in the most basic levels. But if you want to be successful, it's two simple things. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And it was actually the best thing that ever happened to me in my career. And there's so many things in football that if somebody else doesn't do their job, someone else gets put in a bad situation. To understand the flow of all 22, man, people have no idea how hard this is. I can't determine anyone's why, but I can keep doing my job fundamentally the same way, carrying the same way.
On this episode of Same Game, Different Turf, we have Josh Brooks, UGA Athletic Director. Go Dogs, one of my most favorite people in the world. We're going to see how Josh's story evolves from wanting to be a player to then eventually coaching to moving to operations to finding out he has a shot to be an athletic director. We're going to see how he doesn't leave it to chance and how he does the job at the highest levels.
I got to clear the air because there was a time where who the favorite athlete was. I thought that I had won that title. But then I talked to Stinchcomb and I talked to Murray and I talked to Dennell. I talked to Boykin. And everybody thinks that they're your favorite athlete.
Well, there's only one. You and Nakobe can fight for the title too.
So do you have a favorite athlete, or is it just so many people that you've come across now that like you just love us all the same?
I don't love them all the same because they're so drive me crazy. There's definitely a floating top 10 or a evolving top 10.
Yeah.
It's like I tell my three boys, I love them all the same, but there's certain days I like telling them better than others. And I love them for different reasons.
Yeah.
You know, my three boys are completely different.
Take me back to the inception though, because, you know, kids grow up and they want to make it to the league. Did you have a sport where you wanted to make it to the league, or was sports just something that you just always gravitated towards?
Football was always my thing from early on. Love football. You know, every kid starts off wanting to be a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Then you realize that not everybody can play quarterback. And I hit a point where I stopped growing, and then my friends kept growing. Mm-hmm. And I became I was at 10, 11, I was one of the fastest, strongest, biggest, and everybody kept growing. I stopped, and then I had to kind of find what I could find, and that was football. Yeah. And that was playing linebacker, and it was a spot you could hide where you didn't have to be biggest, fastest, strongest, but if you could make good decisions, you could get to the right point. And I was very good at tackling in a way that I wasn't knocking people over, but I'd bring you down. And I dreamed of, at that point in high school, I knew I wasn't going to be good enough to play at a high level. And I couldn't afford to walk on anywhere. Mm-hmm. But I thought about going to a small school, but even at small schools, when you get small enough, you got to pay part, and I didn't have that money. So it's like, all right, I'm not going to make it to the NFL. That's over. Yeah. I want to coach. I want to be the head coach of a college team and win a national championship. That was my goal. How do I get there? People put me in contact with people at LSU, and I didn't know if I was going to be a manager, video trainer, didn't know the difference in any of it. I just wanted to, how do I get my foot in the door?
Just be in the door.
Yeah, and I want to be behind the scenes at LSU football. This is going to be the coolest thing ever. So I started working, volunteering in the equipment room. I had a part-time job. Thankfully, Louisiana just passed TOPS, which is the equivalent of Hope in Georgia. Mm-hmm. So I was able to get my tuition covered by that. Yeah. That covered that. Started working at the grocery store, Winn-Dixie, stocking shelves. And then I got offered, after a semester, a paying role in the equipment room. So then I could quit the job, Winn-Dixie, go work, start making a little money, just enough to get by. And that's how I got started. At that point, then I started to understand being an equipment manager, what it meant. And thankfully, I worked for a guy, Jeff Boss, who changed my life in terms of working, understanding work, and understanding your mission. And he was a guy that was an equipment manager, but he was, you ever heard the story of the guy that, the janitor at NASA? They asked the janitor at NASA one time, what do you do? He goes, I put people on the moon.
Yeah. Oh, like, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was my boss's philosophy. Like, I'm here to help us win a national championship. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't just an equipment manager job. It was, we're part of this. And he put that thought into us, and we learned from what we were doing, it was almost a little bit like football ops. Yeah. Before football ops.
How so?
Like we were involved in everything. We'd help out with camps. We'd help out with clinics. We'd help out with recruiting. Like we didn't just do equipment stuff. We were doing a little bit of everything. So that was a great foray into learning operations from him. And I think unknowingly that set me up for a job in ops later. But I went there thinking I'm going to be a coach. And I was focused on learning as much as I could to become a coach. Now the problem was, you know this, high school ball, everybody that plays high school ball thinks they know football. And this is with complete respect to people that played high school ball. I don't mean to disparage anyone.
Yeah.
But going from high school ball to college ball is going from like not even algebra 1. It's going from like base level math, like the math book that just says math.
Like trigonometry.
To trigonometry. And that gap is enormous. Being an athlete, you get thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
And through repetition, you have to learn it. And you probably didn't even realize, I'm guessing, may came easy to, may came hard. But I'm guessing there's a point where you look back and go, God, I can't believe everything I know.
You get thrown in the fire and you just figure it out.
And you were focused on one position.
Yeah.
When you attack it from wanting to be a coach and you're trying to learn all 11 or all 22, and you had that gap in time where you went from high school to manager and you're trying to learn it your junior, senior, it was overwhelming for me. Like trying to learn, all 11 responsibility on every play. And it was very intimidating. Like I was like, I don't know if I could do this because it feels like trigonometry, it feels like advanced physics or.
So how do you make the distinction from I'm just going to put my head down and grind and just pursue coaching versus I'm going to open the aperture a little bit and figure out how I stay in sports and do other things?
You talking about from the time when I was manager going into that?
Yeah.
Then I went into, I told Jimbo I wanted to be your student assistant. And it was a little complicated with the rules about what I could and couldn't do. But he created a pathway for me, and my boss did, where I could go and sit in quarterback meetings every day. But then I felt behind because I'm in a room, as I'm going into my junior, senior year, I'm in a room with guys who played quarterback for a long time, and they've been in this room for a couple of years. And I'm trying to learn. Thankfully, I had some guys to help me. Rohan Davey, Craig Nall, Matt Malk, Josh Booty, that helped me. Marcus Randall was a freshman my senior year, so we were kind of learning it a little bit together.
Yeah.
But, I had some veterans in the room that were I could ask questions to over and over again. Because Jimbo, don't let that accent fool you. That man is brilliant.
Yeah. And
people can make fun of a West Virginia, whatever. The guy...
He can coach football, though.
He could tell you what all 11, all 22 in every play, what they're doing. And just him spending 45 minutes describing Power O to you, how to block Power O 45 minutes. You're like, okay, he just drew up Power O versus every front possible at every formation, but thankfully I had quarterbacks I could lean on and just ask a lot of questions to just absorb. But I still felt like it was coming in too fast, and I was doing the best I could to keep my head above water.
Yeah.
And then I was able to at least parlay that into a GA job at Louisiana Monroe. And then I still felt like, okay, I know his terminology, I know his system. Now I've got to go to a new system.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking this quantum physics or this trigonometry, but now I've got to go learn a different language. That's what you understand about football, is that you learn the fundamentals of trigonometry or algebra or geometry, whatever you want to call it. But whenever you change teams or change coordinators, okay, the math is the same, but now I have to do it in a new language, which once you become a 12-year veteran, I guess it is.
Yeah.
But
and then you got to do it in real time when things are changing and moving.
And moving quickly at,
It's,
and to do it. It's one thing to press the clicker and say, this is what that receiver should do. He should, the backer blitz, the sight read, he should break off the route and do this. It's easy to do that. But to do it real time.
Yeah.
People understand, I think you would get this. I can't believe that receiver did. Well, in real time, your brain froze and you decided to break that route or do this or,
Get in context as to what is actually happening, how fast things are moving, what could have happened to alter something. Like, it's organized chaos.
Oh, man, people have no idea how hard this is. And I mean that in the most respectful way. Because people can watch a play. And I'm normally in situations where I'm with fans or donors or other people watching a game, and I'll see something happen. You're like, oh man, that safety just gave up that touchdown. I'm like, no, you're playing cover 2. That receiver ran the fade, The corner's supposed to jam. Don't let him get outside of him.
Free
jam
release.
Him, free release. But if that receiver gets a free release, that safety's never going to get there. But what looks like on TV is that safety didn't go over the top in time. But you didn't see the cornerback, not to throw cornerbacks under the bus, do their job. And there's so many things in football that if somebody else doesn't do their job, somebody else gets put in a bad situation. To understand the flow of all 22, but it looks so simple sometimes.
It's a game of high intelligence, and I don't think people understand how fast people are processing information in real time.
I saw a video of Cam Newton breaking down on one of his podcasts how to designate the mic. And I was curious. I started watching the comments. People were like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm like,
every play.
People don't even understand. Like, that's one of the most fundamental things we have to, and like, that's a basic, like, identifying the mic is the start of everything. And if you can't do that.
While they're disguising everything.
Yeah.
To mess it up.
And how that one designation sets so many other things in motion.
Yeah. So how long did you coach, and when did coaching run its course?
So I went to Monroe. First year I was receivers. I worked with receivers. And then we had a head coaching change, and I decided to move to defense. Defense coordinator said, you need to grow, learn. You need to come learn the defense side of the ball. So I went and coached safeties. And that was real good to now see it from the other perspective, which is funny about defensive coaches, the learning the difference. Like, they're the most paranoid individuals on the planet. Me, with my offensive background, I would know that, okay, we're talking about a receiver broke off the route when he wasn't supposed to. A defense coordinator will see that and go, oh, it's another variation. I'm like, no, sometimes the receivers just make a mistake. Like, you don't have to study.
Missed assignment.
They run smash 55 times this way, and the one time that receiver broke off and did something different, it's not a wrinkle that time. That was a mistake. Like, but they will prepare.
He's gonna get cussed out on Monday.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, what if they do? Like, well, that doesn't make sense. That's But so I spent the next year defense. And then my head coach came in to me and said, I'll be honest with you, I don't hire guys that didn't play, but you're really organized. I like to make you my ops person. And I was like, at the time I was offended. I'm like, man, I've been grinding, learning. I know I can do this. And I thought I would actually be a great teacher, because I think sometimes the lesser athletic, the lesser talented people can make for great coaches, because
1000%.
They can explain it at the because you can know everything in the world, but if you can explain it, if you don't know well, if you can explain it, then what good is knowing it? And I always thought, like, I could break it down in the most basic levels. But he said, I don't hire people that didn't play. Fair enough. So I was offended, but he offered me a full-time job. And it was actually the best thing that ever happened to me in my career. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, that I'm probably better at this side of it than the coaching side of it.
Did at any point did you say, you know what, I'll leave and go prove it to you?
I was going to leave and go coach high school.
Yeah. So you take the job. How is it going from the coaching side of it to the ops side of it? Yeah.
So I was going to leave. I didn't. Stayed. But then I learned to love it. I love the freedom that ops brought. And I loved the fact that I could still be involved. And what was cool about Monroe was it was still small enough of a place where, like, I knew all the coaches, so I could still help out on game day. Like they let me chart or call personnel, not coaching, but being and back then what you call it now an analyst or whatever. So I still got to do stuff on game day that made it fun. Because I love being in that. There's nothing like being in a coach's booth on game day. The headphones, seeing the like. I don't like watching the game from the sideline. I spent so many years in the booth. I spent 6 years in the coach's box, seeing it and seeing plays develop that I love.
It's a different view.
Some people could see it well from the field. I never could. I could see it much better from the field, seeing things open up and develop.
You can see a safety bite the wrong way, and it's like you just raise your hands up. This is going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, or just see the formational balance and say, okay, you got numbers, or this is the quarterback's got a check with me situation. He got numbers. Go ahead and run it this way, or call it. That's fun to me to see that.
So how do you decide then? Because you're there, and then at some point it's like, do you just stay and let it run its course, or do you go explore new opportunities?
So that's interesting. So I did it for a couple of years. Crazy enough, Katrina hits, and I was working in North Louisiana, but Katrina's impact it reverberated throughout Louisiana, Mississippi, and we had games getting rescheduled, travel. It was just for an ops person, it was one of the most difficult years of my life because there's so much influx.
Yeah.
We had our whole town was filled with evacuees that had fled from New Orleans that were living in Monroe at the time, and it was just a ripple effect that made at the time I was like 25, made a 25-year-old's life crazy trying to balance all that. And I was like, I gotta get out of this. I can't do this anymore. And I went and worked in corporate America for a year and a half. Worked with my friend in housing in California. Great guy, great company, loved it. Loved working with him, but I didn't love that everybody didn't care about the goal.
Yeah, that's hard coming from a team environment.
And the exec team cared, but everybody else didn't care about. Like I was like, we're going to be the #1 housing company in Southern California. And my coworker was like, why do you care? We don't get bonuses. We get paid the same either way. You gotta calm down.
And you're like, what?
I'm like, but
huh?
Let's have a competition. Let's give me some numbers. Like if they sold X number of homes, we're going to sell one more than them. And ultimately in my mind, I'm still thinking, okay, but maybe we're not getting bonuses. But if we do better, maybe we'll get raises or or we'll get promotions. Like something good's going to come out of it. But let's go win. Let's go compete. And I remember at that time, I started working in the office because I started in the field, like really learning the trades and everything. And then I was working in the office. And traffic in California is so bad, they kind of give you alternate starting day. Like you can start at 7:30, go 7:30, 4:30, 8 to 5, 8:30, 5:30, depending on your commute or how you want to go. And coming from football, I would just come in at 7:30 because started it. And I'd get in probably 7:15, 7:20 most days, which meant I was supposed to get off at 4:30. And I saw most people came in at 8. And I would just kind of hang around and probably work till 5 most days. But you'd see some people when that 5 o'clock hit, like drop the pencil mid-stroke and walk out.
I had a guy explain it to me. He was like, you're coming from the sports world. Don't assume every company you go into where the people are trying to perform. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's, again, not trying to sound holier now, but that is.
Like people just want to check in, check out, and you realize like it, in a weird way, if you just show up and continue to work hard, it's not that hard to be a high performer in certain environments.
I tell young people all the time, people ask me all the time, and I can't promise anyone a path to be an AD. You got to get luck and timing and everything. But if you want to be successful, it's 2 simple things: work hard and be nice. If you work hard and be nice, you are going to do great things. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously more, but like fundamentally, if you work hard and are nice.
Let's get back to sports because it's hard to break into sports. You get calls all the time from people saying,
like, look,
give me a job, give me a job. How do you even get back to Georgia the first time when we came to know and learn Josh?
Yeah. So I came back I was in California. I get a call from my boss, same guy that hired me, says, hey, the guy that filled in for you left. Their spot's open again. Do you want to come back? I'm like, you know what?
For sure.
I want to come back now.
Yeah.
But now I'm coming back not as the GA that got promoted, but I'm the guy they recruited.
Yeah.
Because every job up until this point was me begging to get the job. This was the first time in my life that I've ever been recruited for a position. And now I come back with a whole new perspective on life. They recruited me. I'm a little bit older, a little bit wiser, got a little confidence, and now I'm hitting my stride. Now I feel like I have confidence, knowledge, experience, and now I'm crushing. And I am happy. I'm going to work at Monroe for a long time. Wasn't looking. My buddy that I worked with at LSU, that was a coach also, had just got fired from the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Was looking for a job. Sees a job posted, Assistant Director of Football Operations in Georgia. He's not ops, he's coach. He calls me up and says, hey, you've always said you want to work at Georgia because when we played here in 99, when I was a student LSU, we played here in 99. Seymour Charles Grant, one of the greatest.
Guys,
I fell in love with Georgia. I thought it was the most beautiful place I ever saw. He calls me up and says, you always said you want to work there. You need to apply for this job. And I blindly applied for a job. Now, I had a plan when I applied because I'm like, I want this job. I'm going to get it. I knew enough to know how the system works. You send in a resume, it's just getting thrown in a stack of 100 and you're not making anywhere. So I got a binder and clear sleeves, and I put together everything I'd ever done at Monroe, from a coaching clinic to a camp to my itineraries that you later see, like all that stuff. I put it in one binder that covered a season A to Z, and I overnighted it. But I didn't overnight to Coach Rick. I looked up who his secretary was, and I looked at Miss Ann, and I called her, and I said, "Ma'am, you don't know me from Adam. I ask one favor of you. I'm applying for this job. I'm overnighting this package to you. It's a binder. Can you please just hand this binder to Coach Rick?" She said, "Sure thing, no problem."
Yeah.
Spent $50 overnight in this binder, which to me at that time was like all my money.
Yeah.
Sent it. He gets it the next day, calls me the next day, and says, "Like to interview for this job." Flies me in the next day, and the interview was him going through my binder, asking me questions.
Wow.
So it was the easiest interview of all time because it was like, explain to me this, explain to me this.
You were already prepped for the job.
I was like, this is the greatest interview ever.
Mm-hmm.
I called my buddy walking out of the interview, the one that told me to apply, and I said, either they're messing with me or I just hit a grand slam.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, don't get cocky, don't. And he offered me the job. So in the meeting, he's like, well, we'll see, it's going to take a while. And then he calls me when I'm leaving. He's like, ask me for more questions. I'm at the Atlanta airport. He offers me the job. I'm on the phone in the middle of Atlanta airport.
Yeah, I love it though, because you didn't just leave it to chance. It wasn't just like, I see something. It's like, I'm going to win the job.
Yeah.
Not they're going to like.
I even went to, bought a new tie and got, like made sure I was, like really prepped for it. And I went after it, and it, Lord willing, it just worked out just perfectly.
And so you're here, and that's where we like get to know you. We love you. How is it working for like this type of institution, and more pressure and more demands and more resources and more scope and just a bigger operation?
There's always pressure inside the building.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand. It doesn't matter if you're coaching at Milsaps or Georgia, the pressure coaches put on themselves is enormous. But it was more public now. Everything you do, like when you mess up, it's public. When you do well, it's public. Everything's higher praise, higher criticism. But the job was still the same. Now I had more resources now, which was fun to me for the first time ever. we can do fun things, and we could try, it was so nice to have resources to do some things that I dreamed of or I saw other schools doing. Now I've got the money to do that. That was so much fun to explore, and have a little bit of staff to do these things. Because before, when I was at Monroe, we didn't even have money for summer workout supplements. So we would go and get the bread store to donate day-old bread. I would get the grocery stores to donate gift cards to buy peanut butter and jelly, and me and my student workers would make PB&Js all summer for our team. That was their summer supplements.
Yeah.
So coming here, we're like, you just order it. You need something, you get. I was like, this is. So then you felt like the responsibility. I'm given these blessings. Now I got to do more with it.
Yeah.
So how do I take the standard of having this ability, but now ratchet up a notch and I really wanted to take it to another level of organization, to a level that I wanted the athletes and the coaches to feel like I'm going to do great because everything's provided for me and I'm set up well, that I feel the responsibility to do better now because I know I'm being taken care of.
Where did that come from? Because I've heard you talk often about, I want to give you all the resources that you need to succeed and then judge you based off of that. But like you're very...
It started from Jeff Boss,
okay,
the equipment manager at LSU, who was like, there was a saying in the LSU equipment room, we issue everything except guts. And it was, we're going to get you head to toe. We're going to make sure that every cleat is screwed in perfectly. The helmet is perfect. Everything on you is great. That way you feel that I can go perform. And it's my job to get you looking good, feel like from shining the helmets to shining the shoes to whatever, to where you felt like $1 million. And that's the way I approach this job. Like they're not going to let me call the play. The tennis coach isn't going to let me set the lineup 1 through 6. Carol, my track coach, she's not going to let me do the order of the 4x4. Although I'll mess with her about giving I don't get to coach, I don't get to play. But I'm going to make sure outside the lines that my coaches and athletes are going to feel like they're given everything. And I say that to say that I'm going to fail at that sometimes.
Yeah, you're trying.
Perfect. I'm trying.
Yeah.
And I will, and it's hard balancing 21. So I'm not going to sit there and pretend like all 21 are but that's the mission. And that's what drives me. Is I talk about track a lot, obviously. But the recruiting pitch that we give to athletes, and I break it down specifically in track, is a 100-meter race can come down to a millisecond. So when that young man or young woman lines up for that race, I want them to know that from the nutrition, from the sports medicine, from the strength conditioner, from the hotel we stayed in, to the gear, to the mental preparation, everything is 100%, because one fraction could cost us a race.
I think people feel that, though. And do you think that comes from you understanding that, one, from an athlete standpoint, but then from a coach's standpoint of what your coaches need? And
yeah, I think going in that room with coaches changes everything. Because you start to see, like, people think coaches can be crazy. If they're crazy, it's because they're fighting for every day. Recruiting is a battle. To gain a yard is a battle. Everybody else is working too. That's what you got to remind fans of, is like, yeah, they stopped us in that play, but they worked 365 too to stop.
They got good players too. Yeah.
So that edge that created that coach's room, where you're fighting over everything and you're fighting for that recruit, and you would do anything for that extra yard or anything, that mentality is why I act the way I act with trying to support my coaches and athletes, because I want to, if it can help us win, if it's ethical within the rules, with anything that's any edge we can gain, I want to gain it. As long as we're doing it the right way, obviously. But sometimes that involves outworking, out carrying, doing any little thing you can to. That's why I make myself available. It may make a 1% difference, but I will meet with every recruit if I'm physically able to. I meet with recruits all the time.
All
and
sports.
Again, any sport. Some more than others.
Yeah.
And it may make no difference in most recruits. But if it makes a 1% difference in a recruit's visit.
So at what point did you say, I want to go from like working in athletics to potentially positioning myself to be an AD one day?
When Greg hired me to be an assistant AD, I started seeing it. And at first I was like, I can't do that. It's too much. Because people forget, being an AD, it's a bunch of skills. Everyone comes into this with a skill set or an area of expertise. But being an AD, it's 20 different categories.
Yeah.
From compliance to finance to promotions to events, and So I thought, I can't do this. Like, this is too hard. But I can carve out a good path, career, being an associate AD or whatever. And then a year or two in, you're like, all right, I'm gonna set a goal. I can do this. And I got a long way to go, but I'm gonna do this. And that's when I got serious about it, and went and got my master's, and really started challenging myself of like, what do I need to do to get myself on this path? And the master's was a checklist item, but it was also a chance for me, because at first it was like, all right, I need a master's because most ADs or most jobs require it.
Yeah. But
then I was like, all right, if I'm gonna take these classes, let me challenge myself, get into it, and as I write these papers, as I do this research, let me
learn it.
Let me learn some different stuff. And then leaving and taking that job at Milsaps, while on the surface it looked weird to leave a Division I school as an associate AD. I was 33, almost turned 34 at the time. To leave Georgia to go be AD at a Division III school, people were like, you've lost your mind. But I had to do that. Talking about getting your foot in the sports, I had to do that to learn the other things. At Milsaps, I had to run the ticketing, I had to run the promotions, I had to start the concession stands, I had to figure out how to do live streams, I had to work. I had one SID.
Oh.
And a couple student workers. Yeah.
Oh, so you're hands on with everything.
Everything. I was literally in the concession stand. I revamped the concession stand from scratch. I taught myself how to make popcorn the right way.
What's the wrong way?
Well, I mean, if you don't do that, there's like a bunch of steps.
Yeah.
And if you're not meticulous about when and how you put the oil in, and when you cut it off, when you cut it on, you could burn it. And the one thing you never want to do in a concession stand is burn popcorn, because when you do that, that smell permeates for 30 minutes and more, and then no one's buying your popcorn.
Even the little things like that are showing up.
You got to, so you learn those little things the right way, and then you understand running that stand and actually working it. You watch people's reactions when they read the price or when they pay, and you go, all right, I'm getting a feel for price points, where it should be, where's the pain points of consumers, what can I do to, all right, that may be $3, but if I make it 2 for $5, and that's little things, but like getting in the weeds of that was important to me. And then understanding talking to parents, talking to athletes about how they use the website, what was important to them, and seeing it from their point of view.
So you're not just managing sports; you're managing like everything that encompasses
Everything.
this
I was literally
experience.
taking photos at matches with a camera on my neck. And then you start to learn that taking photos is a lot harder than you think, because when you take that photo, how is that photo going to translate to the website or social media? And how do you frame it? And, so you have a better perspective of all those things. And so it was really a critical time for me to just really get in the weeds of everything and learn everything from that to fundraising. And like literally, we didn't have a multimedia rights Learfield. It was me.
There's probably not an aspect of the business that you didn't touch or get like even more immersed in while you were there, which I would imagine now sitting in this seat.
Yeah, I mean, at Milsaps, you had no choice.
Yeah.
You're in everything.
So how do you think that experience has prepared you now for this job, even though it's
100%.
Yeah.
Much smaller scale.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the pressure I put on myself, I put pressure on myself as if we were, playing for the college football playoff championship with the next.
It's like literally working for the job you want.
Yeah, but I loved, our women's basketball team was regular season conference champions, which meant we got to host a tournament. We hosted the tournament. We lost in the championship game to our rival, Rhodes, and the winner was going to get to go in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So we were a one bid league. So we didn't get to the tournament. We lost that game. That loss in women's basketball, Milsaps, was one of the most gut punching losses of my career. And people laugh at me when I say that. I'm like, you don't understand. That team, that was my first team to win a conference championship. I was a new AD. Like that was extremely big deal to me. So I made it. You make the big time where you're at. It was the big time to me. It prepared me, and obviously it's different, and the aspect and the scale of things are much bigger here, but the fundamental parts of it are the same.
And how do you now, being here, at 21 teams, different coaches, athletes are changing in and out. How do you manage all of that while still managing the business of running it?
That's the hard part, because now the worst part of this new world is the lack of continuity. The changing of the roster. It's tough. That's the hard part. If I was able to know you as a freshman and get to know you, there's a trust built up over time that means a lot. Or that when now people are coming in and going, it takes away a little of the joy of it. Like seeing someone grow from a freshman to senior year, and then managing the business aspect of it. Now we're getting pushed into a corner that we're forced to make more business-like decisions. I won't be naive and say that college athletics has not been a business. It's always been a business. I mean, ever since they sold the first ticket or broadcast first games. But we consciously made, I'm not going to say bad business decisions, but we made decisions that weren't in the best interest of profits. A ton. And we still do.
Yeah.
We always did what was, kept true to our mission and left revenue opportunities on the table, because that's not the core of what we do. Now you're seeing people embrace things that aren't necessarily part of the core of what we do, but we've got to raise more revenue, so we've got to be more aggressive. And that's it's tough. I mean, it's good because people are taking advantage of opportunities that are out there for everyone, but
just the whole landscape changes. How do you lead through while you can maintain what you came into this business for?
Yeah, you got to keep reminding yourself that at the core of it, the majority, the mission's still the same. And I can't determine anyone's why. But I can keep doing my job fundamentally the same way, carrying the same way. And if they choose to accept it, that's awesome. And if they don't, that's on them. It's going to be harder to get everyone to accept the care and the love that we're giving. So my batting average may be lower.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to do it the same way. And the ones that do it are going to benefit from it. And if somebody views this as a mercenary one-year opportunity, then God bless them.
Yeah. But it seems just like coming here and nobody knew that I was coming here today. You see the coaches coming up here, they're eating your lasagna. You see old players coming around. Seems like you're still trying to build a system that like fosters.
And
whatever
thankfully,
that
we
is.
have continuity.
Yeah, yeah.
That helps with that. Thankfully, we've got people that span several decades now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I hope and pray that young men and women they've lost a little sight of it. I get it. They're trying to secure their future. But let me imagine if you'd have transferred twice in college. You started at Georgia and then transferred to North Carolina your junior year, and then your senior year you transferred to Penn State.
Yeah.
You go and play in the league. It's great because maybe it was a better system for you or whatever, and maybe it helped you get drafted a little earlier. But then what does home look like for you now, today? If you had gone to 3 schools, where would your home be? Where would you feel comfortable? Because I think about that because, and just being honest with you and just reflecting on how it affects me personally, like I'm at a point in my life now where there is no job I would go take. There is no job because I want this to be my home. I want to retire and go to Georgia games.
Yeah.
I want to have this be my place that I go when I retire. I want to walk in and say that's my team.
Yeah, yeah.
And to give that up, like I don't know what some of these guys and women that are like. What do you do at your age that you're at now? If it had gone that way, what would you be doing? What is your home?
I don't know, because I mean, you get to a point in life where like your community is the thing that solves all the things that you need from an opportunity.
You just talked about a trip you went on with your guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, if you'd have transferred a couple of times, you have more friends, but not as close.
I'll tell you something crazy. We were on that trip. We saw some of the what were the 2 linebackers that went first round this year. One went to the Falcons. One went.
Jalen Walker and Mikael Williams.
We saw them together on this particular trip, and they had their guys with them, and we were like, man, that's kind of cool. Like they're like the second version.
Again, I don't claim LSU anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
No offense to them, but I have a text thread with like 12, 15 of my buddies that I worked in the equipment room with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
23 years later, we have a text thread still.
I think that community is something that people are going to want to come back towards, especially when you're in these crazy transitional moments.
They don't value it right now.
Oh, for sure you'll value it later.
But I wouldn't trade it in for the world.
Mm-hmm.
We were telling a story on the text thread. Jeff Boss, the guy we all worked for, he passed away in 2003. He had brain cancer. And there was a text going on about this story, that story. And one of the texts was slightly making fun of him about something he said or did.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, what would he say? If he heard you saying that, he'd be mad. Like, and someone else said, no, he would be so happy that we're still communicating 23 years later.
Yeah.
That would mean more to him than anything else in the world. And like, I wish I could explain that to a 21-year-old or 20-year-old right now.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it reverts back to that because you see it.
Everything comes full circle, right? So maybe it will.
Yeah. Hopefully people value places they can call home.
And I know people will always use the argument that ADs and coaches jump ship. And yes, they do. But they sign contracts and they have buyout clauses and penalties and all, I wouldn't trade it. And I also think that part of that 18 to 22-year-old experience is battling through that tough part.
Yeah.
Some of the worst things that me in college or in my career, I wouldn't change looking back today.
Yeah.
Because I've made a lot of mistakes along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't change one of them. And to think about the struggles in college, whether it was getting dumped or not getting this opportunity or losing this game, whatever, it wouldn't change a single thing.
You're going to need that later in life because life doesn't reward transferring. You got to figure it out and deal with whatever's in front of you.
What are they going to do when they're 26, 27, not playing? Or even, let's say they have a great career in the league. But let's say they're doing well in the league. But it's not going the way they want.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, in the league, you wait till you're a free agent.
Yeah.
But you don't get to go into the coach's office and say,
no.
You could demand a trade. Second-year player, see how that goes.
Probably get cut.
Yeah.
So as we come down the home stretch, what is next just for you and your leadership? I know you hopefully have another 25 years here.
There's a balance that I'm trying to find right now between settling in and finding my groove, but not being complacent.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to be the person who's always chasing and is never satisfied. but I also still want to maintain the edge and the curiosity of growing. But I'm trying to find the balance and not changing for change's sake, but changing only when it makes sense, and growing and growing and growing, and evolving in this new world, and understanding what, as this process evolves, what are the things that are going to be critical for our success.
How much can you control the changes you have to make because the outside world is just forcing that change versus the changes that you need to make to still operate in your own unique way, to like function different than the noise? And
Yeah. I think what you try to do is make sure that you're doing enough, especially when we talk about money, because money's a big part of this. We're doing enough to be competitive with everyone else, to be in that mix. There's always somebody's going to raise more, do more, whatever. Get me in that mix. Just get me in that mix where we're competitive, financially wise, and then let us show you, get us in the mix, get us on a visit, and then let us show you why we're special. And if the money's comparable, and you can't see what's special about this place, then it's not for you.
Yeah.
And that's fair, because not every school fits, whatever. But I will go to battle every day thinking we'll do well. If we're competitive there, we have so much to sell everywhere else.
For sure.
Showing care and love that will end up with the people that see that and want to be part of it. And if they can't see that,
for sure,
God bless them. I can't worry about the one. I don't lose time worrying about the ones I don't get.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the ones I do get.
Yeah.
You know.
And last question for you. What advice would you give your younger self?
This too shall pass.
Mm.
And we always think everything happens, good or bad, you know. I think Tom Hanks said that. I was watching a thing. He said like, just wait. Or like, it was like, you think you're on top of the world? Just wait.
Yeah.
What we thought was an emergency today will seem silly in 2 weeks. What we thought was one of the worst days, some of the worst things I've had are funny stories 5 years later.
Yeah.
You know, some of the most embarrassing, terrible things, you know, and then some of the greatest things that you think was the greatest, the mountaintop, is just a trophy that collects dust.
Yeah.
Or is a ring that sits in a case that you never wear.
Yeah.
I would tell myself that stuff's great, but the connections and people, seeing you and spending time with you is better than any ring that I have in that trophy case.
I love you dearly. Everything that you've done is so cool to come back and just watch like Georgia become better and better and better and better and better.
I do feel a sense of responsibility because of you and because of the guy. It's like, and again, you're talking about favorites. There will always be a special place in my heart for the 08 team. Not just the seniors were really special, but that whole group.
Yeah.
That was my first group. And that was y'all were the group that I was trying to earn trust. So I probably was like working really hard because y'all didn't know me.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get in with y'all and say, because I was so intimidated to come to Georgia.
Yeah.
But because of that, and to see the other side of it with all the guys, Ellerby, Greenwood, you know, on and on and on.
Yeah.
I have a responsibility on two levels. One, because this is y'all's home, that I want to take care of it. But also, I feel like I'm a representation of y'all help make me.
Yeah.
So I better do right by do right by y'all, because I'm a representation of what, you know.
But it's fascinating because all up and down the stack, some guys are going to be Hall of Famers, some guys never played in the NFL, and you treat them all the same. Like that, I think that's what's the thing that is so authentic about you, is that we know we're going to get just like that love. And when I hear about some of the text change that you're on, you know what I'm talking about, that we could never talk about. And it's just hilarious. Like, Danielle said, what? It's cool because you've just embraced all of us as like truly being one of these big happy families, of no matter if you played, you didn't play, who you are.
When I go a while without seeing Houston or AJ, like then my brain starts to forget that they were just the normal dude that was sitting here, and like then you see him and it's a big hug. You're like, wait, that's because when you don't see him for a while, they do start to become like, man, that's Justin Houston.
Yeah.
You know? Then I remember like, man, I had to help Justin like get his driver's license. Like that was like my baby. Like you know, and AJ came in wide eyed as a freshman. Like it's just
it's
crazy to think, you know.
Well, we appreciate you, and you can count on us anytime.
Well, excluding B Wood, if you're listening to B Wood, everybody else needs tickets, needs something. I got you covered. B Wood's used up his allotment.
Yeah, take Boykin off that list too.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate it. I'm gonna get some lasagna to go because that's actually really good.
We gotta get the recipe, put it on the.
That could be your next chapter, just Josh Brooks recipe book.
Yeah, honestly, I would love to just like go work in the back of the kitchen a couple days a week and just do some cooking. I love to cook.
You should do that. We have a big like everybody come back eat your food. All the classes from 08 to now.
Yeah, it's getting better too. That's good.
Yeah.